Hey y'all, Monk Joseph with the Broken Buddha. What would it be? Happy Monday? Yep. Coming up on the Yeshua's birthday celebration. So coming up to that, we're gonna do this Sages series. Today's gonna be Zarathustra. Tomorrow will be Siddhartha Gautama, and then Christmas Day will be Yeshua or Jesus as you know. So let's go ahead and get started. Zoroastrianism is a religion that dates back to somewhere around 1000 to 1300 BC, depending on who you ask. I always say 1,000 just to round it out. And Zarathustra's main epiphany that I always adhere to and get other people to adhere to in modern religion is that there is a being of compassion and light, and it's the all that is, everything you see and touch. And there is also a counterpoint entity, but that entity is created by the desire of humans and is kept alive, fueled by the desire of humans, and obviously right now would be a strong point for it. But it's 1,000 years before Yeshua. So, I mean, you don't really. I need to look up when you get the idea of it being someone else's fault, because as far as I can see, I mean, it must be fairly new to go, something else is making me act bad, because at 1,000 BC they were smart enough to be like, you know, this is my action causing this evil. It is, my action fueling this evil. And it was obvious, this one guy had to point it out for everybody else, but it was obvious enough and people all felt it and saw it enough. We forget that religion is our first science. It's the first thing that people said, hey, I saw something and felt something, experienced something significant. What do you think? So enough people agreed that this seemed to be the way of things, that it got engaged into like the first main. From what I can see, I mean, you have other ancient religions that go back and disappear before recorded history, um, but yeah, this was like, I would say, the first one that popped up. And I have here the first hymns. I mean, these are the first words that were, a human went, hey, we should all be paying attention to this. There's something else going on here. And Zarathustra's words, you can see how his name is spelled here. Here you go. The Gathas, aka the Hymns of Zarathustra. All right. And I actually did pull out two that I'm actually going to go through and just like kind of talk through. Like, looks like about 4 lines here, maybe five, and then like one on the other side. And this is directly out of his stuff. There's a lot of great stuff in here, guys. It's interesting that when Yeshua, the most more well-known sage of our existence, said, "I am the way, the light, the truth." Ahura Mazda being the being of light, identified by Zarathustra 1,000 years before Yeshua, and then just constantly speaking of like the truth. I don't know what their word for it is. I know in Sanskrit it's Dharma, and in Tibetan it's Bon. But it's interesting to see these things and calling it truth incarnate. So even 1,000 years prior to the existence, it still would hold true to that. I connect these things because our society almost demands it. I can talk about it standalone, but you'll see. I'm going to get back to Zoroaster right here. Um, I just found that fascinating that you see. I'm not so much talking about Yeshua as I want you to focus on the fact that you have truth goes through everything. I mean, it goes from Zoroastrianism. I I am still working on my studies of Islam, but it goes all the way up through into only like a few hundred years ago, religions and religious figures pointing out that this thing, this truth to know, is it. Anyway, so there we have it. So that's who Zoroaster is. You're not really, you can't really find out a lot about it unless you're born into a Zoroastrian family that is passing it through. They're really, really secretive and closed door. Oh, look, a hummingbird. Um, so there's that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. I'm trying to think of anything else significant that I learned from that study. Being of good and light and truth, we made evil, keep it alive. I think that covers the things that I want to cover here. But I will cover, this is out of the, I'm going to mispronounce this, the Hunu Vaiti Gata Yasna 32. Just check it out. I'm gonna read one and then we'll talk about it real quick. And these are going to be slightly long-winded videos, but nothing crazy. The followers of the Council of Untruth in the community and the clan prayed for supreme bliss, even as we do. May we be thy messengers. May we repel the evil of thy lying opponents. I think it's interesting that you really see a balance of the perception of yin and yang here. That you may deem as an evil person or a liar is also praying for supreme bliss as we do. They're not different than us. Just because you see yang as something as yang to you, you are yang to them, and it's very important for me to point that out. As I read this, it really hit home. It was nice. And I'll go through these next few. Just trying to find the ones that are that I found that were kind of ringing. And here we go. O ye evil ones, you are products of the evil mind and of arrogance and perversity, and so are those who honor you. Your evil deeds have long been known in the 7 regions of the earth. Interesting. 7 regions and continents, not the point. Um, this one stood out to me. Where was it? Everything we see in modern times when it comes to religion and things that are supposed to be sacred and honored is perversity. Perversion is not a sexual idea. Perversion is, you have to pervert. Society is the perversion of strength and intelligence. There's no way around that. It's like it's there's been gyms and libraries since the beginning of recorded history, and for some reason people need to identify other things as points of strength and intelligence, and it's perverting the idea of strength and intelligence, of honor and truth. So we're very much living in these. I mean, obviously it was these times, over 3,000 years ago, but it's interesting to see him talk about it. And the people who honor those who arrogantly pervert everything. I mean, we're really in those times. People are really standing up and pointing out that like they're strong because of their lack of remorse and perversion of things. It's getting bad. But it is what it is. It'll turn back to yin or yang for those who are in a yin period. Okay, and I got like 2 more of these here that I want to push out here out of this one. For ye liars confound for ye liars confound the human mind, and make men act their worst, make men speak as lovers of evil, separated from the good mind, far removed from the will of Ahura Mazda, departing from the path of truth and right. Just that main part where liars confound the human mind and make men act their worst, speak of lovers of evil. Again, we're talking about this time period where people think that nihilism and cynicism is a new thing, and that if you can just embrace evil and lying and tricking people and hurting people, you can really make it here. You'll get to do something. Just again, look around, listen to music. It's all right there. Ask a young person about this video, because I can see it in their generation. Like, I don't know. I am glad I'm not there. But I have faith that they will overcome everything they're experiencing. Okay, and then I'm going to do this last one. Yep, okay. Oh, no, maybe we'll do 2 more. Okay. And thus the liars defrauded humanity, of a life of happiness and immortal bliss. It's happening right now, y'all. I'm telling you, it's just, again, look around. For the evil one preaches with evil mind and evil word, evil actions to the lying soul, promising supremacy but bringing it to ruin. I really want to speak on a multi-faith point here, but it would be too complex. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. And then lastly, I'll do this one because I just popped in my, I didn't plan on this one, but we're going to go ahead and pull this one too. These evildoers attaining notoriety by their aggression shall surely receive their due before thee, O Ahura, Lord of the best understanding, ever mindful of man's deserts. For the reign of right shall be honored when truth prevails in thy realms. So I was just talking about it, and it pops right up. These evildoers attaining notoriety by their aggression. I mean, this is, again, the majority of people that are in our mainstream society got there because of their aggressive nature and lack of remorse. So that's the end of the 32nd one. It'd be great to see some stuff in the comments. I hope I'm not being too preachy here. I just really found this one section like really hit home to modern times. I gotta not mess up this book. All right. All right. And then this is the other one I'm going to do is, oh no, I went way too far. 33. There we go. Okay. And this one I'm just going to read the beginning one. And these other names are identities of philosophical concepts. In ancient times in religion, they would give philosophical concepts like an entire entity to try to understand it. Things like wisdom, or obstacles like Ganesha, or physical existence like Shiva, or energy, pure energy unseen. You could even say quantum would be Shakti, or however you want to look at that. This is just the phrases, guys. I can change these phrases to anything you want. I really can. There are parallels in every religion. It's not that difficult. So anyway, I'm going to drop this one real quick. This is the last one. This is the Ahunuvaiti Gatha Yasna 33. I'm just going to read the first one. Maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to read the first one. In accordance with the primeval laws of this existence, the judge shall deal perfect justice to all, to the good who choose the truth, to the evil who choose falsehood, and to those in whom good and evil are mixed. I just wanted to point this out because I've actually always stood by the fact that I really just want everyone to like just solidly choose good or evil. Let's get this over with. But it's interesting to see that they acknowledge the ones who are going to walk a gray area their entire lives, die a gray area death, and get what gray area life livers are obviously got coming. They don't really say much. I mean, they do mention good and evil, but they just say that you're kind of going to end up where you are. And the other thing I like about this is they, when they talk about people who lie and deceive, they don't actually say hell. They just say that you will go to the house of lie. Whereas we get that thing that every religion talks about if you are on the other side of it of truth and righteousness. Well, not fighting for righteousness, and trying to apprehend truth and share truth. Um, so it's very interesting to me to see, and it's also very interesting by the end. I mean, at the beginning of that book, Zarathustra's like, these liars, like, what do I do with these liars and deceivers? Ah, and by the end of it, he's like, you know what, Ahura Mazda, like, these liars have a purpose for serving under your existence too, and I just have to accept that. He eventually just accepted the will of what he understood as the all that is of compassion and light. So that's pretty interesting, and it's actually helped me too because I have some pretty heavy liars and deceivers in my life. So it's interesting. Raised by them, so it's very interesting to be able to have a healthier perception of like, what, like, that's who they are. I don't like to assume that people will go to somewhere negative because I don't like them. So they are going to go where liars go, wherever that is. It's obviously where they want to be, and same thing with the gray areas people, and same thing with the other people. So um, again, do your own research on Zoroastrianism. You'll find these books written in Avestan. Those were the direct hymns. That's why I try to get right to the core of these religions. And they do talk about some of the enlightenment meditative experiences that I won't get into unless I was ever really discussing with somebody who was Zoroastrian who needed to know. So that's interesting that that's in there, and that stuff really parallels all the religions. All right. So there you have it, from over 3,000 years ago, Zarathustra shared with us. I'm not saying you have to join the religion. I'm not saying you got to change religions. I'm not saying you got to do anything. Just hear what the guy said. Way before all the scientists who you all have so much borderline religious faith in these days. He was the first one to say, just check this out. Just hear what I'm saying. And apparently the manifestation in humanity responded. So just check it out. All right, so that's it for Zarathustra, Zoroastrianism. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we will be covering Siddhartha Gautama, aka Buddha, and then the day after Yeshua, aka Jesus. All right, so thanks for stopping by. Um, yeah, big honor, big respects. Great mention to Zarathustra, Zoroaster, for trying to attempt to guide us on a path that won't lead us to like pure hell as an existence and a species and a manifestation. So, yeah, thank you. Absolutely, thank you. All right. So thanks for stopping by, and peace and blessings.